Hey guys, welcome back. Brandon, Jesse, Carl with Abundant Living. And we're going to do a quick little check-in with you, share some things that have been going on this week in Vilcabamba and the surrounding areas. Carl's got a little update about a family trip he had that's pretty interesting. And there's a couple other updates we'd like to give you at the end of the pod, so stay tuned to the end for a few updates.
And we should mention we have our next retreat starting on July 21st. So we would love to see you down here for that. That's a 9-day retreat. Link in the description. We won't talk about it too much here, but it's a great way to get to know the country, meet us, see everything that's going on. So we'd love to see you here then.
It is an awesome retreat, guys. If you are interested in Ecuador or Vilcabamba particularly and want to know what life is like, click the link and you can see some information on what type of events and workshops that the retreat offers, so you can see what type of information is available for you. The feedback we've received from guests has been off the charts. People are moving down here, they're prepared, they're happy. So check out the link below for more information and definitely reach out with questions if you have any.
That's right. So let's jump right into your trip to the coast. You went to the coast for what, a week about?
Yeah, we spent about a week on the coast.
And whereabouts were you?
We stayed in Olón, but we moved around there. Montanita, Puerto Lopez, Ayampe. We kind of traveled around the area there.
Yeah, and you had never really spent a lot of time at the beach, right? That's not like a thing you...
It was the third time I think we go to the Ecuadorian coast.
Yeah. So what are your, for people who are watching this, haven't seen, what are your first impressions, or what did you think of it? What are the, tell us a story.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. No, the coast is great, and it's good that you can get there in like under 10 hours basically drive from Vilcabamba. It's a nice drive, beautiful scenery. There's two different roads that get you there. We took both. We took one, the southern one through Machala on the way there, came back through Cuenca, the Cajas National Forest, and the coast is amazing. I mean, the weather was really nice. It was sunny, but it was a little cloudy as well. Like, it wasn't too hot, and it didn't really rain. It rained a couple of times, like through the night, but not a lot, which was really nice weather. We got lucky because there's about 6 months of the year we got a little more rain and more clouds out there. But yeah, the coast is beautiful, super quiet beaches. We were in Olón, which is kind of a surfing town. The towns around there have a lot of surfing, but it's still not like a crowded, packed beach at all. There's plenty of space to go walk on the beach. And it's very interesting. Yeah, it's a bit of a party town just south of Olón, Montanita. That's where all the bars, the restaurants, the surf scene is bigger there. So it's entertaining to go check it out. There's a lot of action. There's people. There's a lot of traveling, tourism go on there.
How were the restaurants in?
Yeah, the food was great. Yeah, there's a lot of really good international restaurants as well. We tried a few Ecuadorian places just because we thought, like, let's go the Ecuadorian way. That was, not as good. I would say I was a little disappointed in some places. But no, overall, the international restaurants were really good fresh fish and seafood from the coast. Lots of tropical fruits, of course, as well. And yeah, it wasn't too hot and humid. I was there once at another time of year, and I just felt like it was really intense, the heat. But this time around, it was actually comfortable. We had air conditioning, of course, in the room. Really nice place that we stayed, a little hotel there. And what else? I mean, yeah, there's lots of different things to see there. There's waterfalls as well. There's horseback riding. We went on a boat tour.
That was cool.
On the Ecuadorian coast, yeah. So that was fun.
What did that cost also? Like, it's just cool for people to have that frame of reference. Yeah. Like, you have wife, 2 kids. You guys went on a boat tour for half a day or something. What does that cost?
Yeah, the boat tour, and we didn't try to shop around for prices. We just called one place and went with them, so they might have been even cheaper. But it was $25 per adults. Children were half price. So for the 4 of us, we ended up paying $75 for like a 3-hour boat trip where we go off the coast. You see there's a lot of wildlife there. There's the blue-footed booby birds there that you can see. You can also see some sea lions. There's some fish. There's some turtles. And then you go to the Salango Islands, a little island there, about 45 minutes off the coast. We went for a swim there, went kayaking. They had snorkel as well. It was really cool. There was other people on the boat as well with us, and really nice vibes, really fun.
That's where you sent some of the shorts from? You filmed some of the YouTube shorts?
Yeah, I made some shorts, videos. If you haven't seen them, check it out. If you like that type of content, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, say something in the comments. I'd like to start making more of those. I think they're fun and people enjoy them.
The shorts were great to show people, what's going on there. Carl ate what looked like the world's worst ceviche.
Oh, that looked dangerous.
But
did you eat the whole thing?
I did eat the whole thing at the end, yeah. Yeah, I made the video a little dramatic. It wasn't like terrible. It was just interesting, right? Because it is raw fish, raw seafood.
Yeah.
Now the fish tastes somewhat cooked. It's not obvious that it's raw, but there was a raw piece of clam, I guess, or
Yeah,
mussel
yeah.
in there. That was of oyster, I guess, a raw piece of oyster. That was the questionable, interesting part.
So
You know,
water warm, water cold. What's the ocean like?
super comfortable. Like, yeah, it's not warm water, but it doesn't feel cold at all. It's very refreshing to get in the ocean there.
Yeah.
You know, salt water.
Did the kids like it?
The kids loved it. Yeah, the kids loved it. My son, you know, rented a boogie board. He started boogie boarding on the waves there. Our daughter was making sandcastles, and it's a really great place for kids for sure.
Yeah, the photos and videos were great that you were
Yeah.
sending.
It made me very jealous.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there, man.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
it looked awesome.
the great thing is like living here. Like I prefer living here personally. I prefer the weather here, the community, all of that. That being said, it's great to be able to drive, you know, for half a day, get to the ocean and spend a little bit of time there, not too far away, and relatively affordable. Like the boat trip you mentioned, you know, we got a special deal on the hotel there, but somewhere between $30-$40 a night, I think is sort of the average for something like middle of the line, you know.
Were there differences in, like you said, you stayed at Ayampe and Alone and Montanita? Were there differences in the beaches itself? Or were they all kind of similar?
They were somewhat different, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of similarities, but the beaches are different. Some beaches have no rocks at all. Some beaches have little stones. Other beaches have more of the rocks. The waves also are different depending on the shape of the beach there. Montanita and Olon are really popular for surfing. Ayampe as well. Those are all surf places. Puerto Lopez, definitely recommend checking it out. There's a huge restaurant scene there, lots of things on the beach.
The boardwalk.
That's where there's a big long boardwalk, and then that's where the boats go out for the different tours. You can go to another island, Isla de la Plata. It's the poor man's Galapagos. That's about a 2 hour, maybe 2 hours there, 2 hours back. I went there many years back. Really nice as well. And yeah, Puerto Lopez is kind of the hub for all of the different adventure tours and things like this. That's where you start from. And the beach was different there for sure. We didn't really go into the ocean there, but Long Beach, there's not as much surfing there. And we were there on the weekend too, so it was crowded that day. I think a lot of people from the cities, Guayaquil and other cities around the coast, they go to the beach on the weekend. So if you go there on the weekend, you'll see more people for sure.
How would you say the expat to local ratio? Was it different at every different place, or were there more expats in certain places?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's somewhat similar to Vilcabamba in a way.
Okay.
I would say there's probably not as many expats that are located that live there permanently. There's more tourism. It's just, you know, backpackers and tourists and surfers. So there was a wide mix, but it seemed to me there's more local people that are resident there than maybe comparatively to Vilcabamba. There's a lot of expats that live here on the coast. They're more tourists. You can kind of see, you know, the backpackers, and they carry around their
Yeah, I mean, at least in like Montanita in that area, yeah,
Right.
for sure. A lot of people. There's a lot of snowbirds on the coast. There's a lot of
Right.
folks who kind of do the 6 month thing, and there's definitely communities of expats up and down the coast as well. But yeah, they're all beautiful little towns. Like I would, you know, if you're interested in the coast, like I would take a trip and just hit all those little towns all the way up and down. They all have their own little flavor. The food changes a little bit, you know, by town. They're mostly fishing villages. Like most of these places are fishing villages. Surfing's pretty big in Ecuador, so they surf up and down the coast. You get a whole totally different flavor up north towards Esmeraldas. You get a more like Afro-Caribbean type deal. But yeah, the coast is beautiful. We like going there quite a bit. There's also in this area, you know, your closest beaches are in Peru. So there's actually really nice beaches 5, 6, 7 hours from here in Peru, depending on where you want to go. Mancora being sort of the town people have heard of, but an hour and a half, you know, short of Mancora, an hour and a half past Mancora, there's beautiful areas to vacation as well. It's not much of a hassle to cross the border here from Ecuador to Peru, and that's really your closest beaches.
So how was the travel? You mentioned it was just about 10 hours, a little under 10 hours for you to get there? Or?
Something like that. Yeah, I think from Vilcabamba to Guayaquil is what, 7 hours, 7.5 hours maybe. And there's another 3 hours to Olon is where we went. So around 10 hours travel.
So how was it? Smooth sailing with the travel there and
Yeah,
back?
good question. Yeah, we had a few car issues. On the way there, no problem at all. We got there. safe and sound. Everything was great. On the way back, we did get a little issue in the Cajas National Park, which is kind of the worst place to have an issue because it's like a national park where there's, I guess there's a little bit of traffic. There's just nobody lives there.
So
right?
between Cuenca and Guayaquil,
right.
There's you spend a couple of hours up at very high elevation in a national park. It's beautiful, but there's nobody around it.
Yeah, gorgeous place. Yeah, I mean, we got really lucky. I mean, we probably could have continued on without an issue, but the floor of my car was getting so overheated that my floor was melting. And it was like, it smelled burnt and it was all black. So there was an issue there. My wife.
I love Carl's attitude too. He sends us a video all nonchalant, like, yeah, you know, my feet were burning and the floor's melting, so we called a tow truck. Like,
I think I would have been good.
But actually, the amazing part is we didn't even call a tow truck. We were there waiting for 5 minutes. We had these little cones that it's mandatory to have in your car. So we put those behind the car, and the tow truck just happened to drive by. And he's like, yeah, I don't think you'll make it.
That's how your attitude plays out in your life. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little stressful with the family and stuff. But now we got the car and the tow truck. They dropped us off in Cuenca, you know, and went to a mechanic the next day. The mechanic thought it was the catalyst converter, and just decided to remove the whole thing. So put the muffler back together without the catalytic converter, and we continued on our journey. And then this, you know, kind of scary noise started going on in the car on the way from Saraguro back down to Loja, and it was my 4-wheel drive. It was like grinding a little bit on one of the wheels. It was nothing major, but it was just concerning. I even thought we could get another tow truck, but I thought let's try to make it all the way home. Called a few friends, mechanics, and they said it should be fine. So, yeah, that was about it. Oh, and then on the way out of Cuenca, we did get stopped by the transit police. They gave us a real hard time. This is one of the things that happens sometimes here is, you know, it hasn't happened a lot to me, but this time around, I think the reason why they gave us a hard time is because my wife started filming them. She starts like filming them and looking at everything and like, you know, documenting the event, and they didn't like that. They didn't like that part because typically they stop you because they want a bribe, but of course if you're filming them, then they can't take a bribe because now you have proof that they stopped you and blah blah blah, right? So, so at the end of the day, they had us erased. They went through our phone, they erased all the video.
Oh wow!
Now literally at the end, he's like, "Give me your phone." I'm like, "I don't want to give you my phone." He's like, "No, give me your phone." So grab my phone, goes to the sergeant or whatever is higher up. They delete all this stuff, go in the trash, you know. They make sure that like everything's deleted. And I looked, I was like, I hope I still have those videos. I want to put those on YouTube. But no, they were gone. And they took a little bribe and let us go. And they stopped us because my front tires apparently were, you know, too bald for their liking. It should be 1.6 millimeter and it was 1.4. So, you know, that's why they give us a hard time. I don't know how legal that was. Clearly, they're looking for bribes. So it is what it is, but yeah, it was a little stressful that part for sure.
all being said, it sounded like you guys had a great trip and had a little excitement on the way back. But you're back. And how does it feel? Good to be back?
Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. Yeah, no, it was good to take a little vacation. It's good to be back in our beautiful town, as you can see behind us.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we had a little excitement last night in town in our lives here, didn't we, Jesse?
We did. Our daughters were performing in a dance competition. I don't know, was it really a competition?
I think it was just like a recital, like a performance. Yeah.
I was told it was a competition, but it didn't seem to be. At one of the theaters in Loja. What's the name of that theater?
Benjamin Carrion.
Benjamin Carrion.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. It's like probably 18th century, 19th at the most century, sort of like opera style theater, and it has, you know, all the original molding, and it's actually really beautiful. But yeah, it was quite an experience. Why don't you jump into it a little bit?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We're in Ecuador, things generally start later, or we're finding out. So like this event didn't even start until 8:00, and what's yesterday? A Tuesday, and there's 20 teams, and each team is doing their dance for 15 minutes. So I mean, I don't even think we got out of there. It was like pushing 11 o'clock at night. 11 o'clock at night on a weekday, and there was age ranges from like 5-year-old kids to, you know, teenagers.
Yeah, even younger than that. I
It might
saw
have been-
Journey there. With
Oh yeah,
like,
Journey was
friends
there.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So maybe 3 or 4 year olds, right? So it's interesting that things start late, and it's funny because Tiff and I were just at dinner the other night, and we get to dinner, and there's this celebration all set up with balloons and flowers and 90th Feliz Cumpleaños. How do you say it?
Cumpleaños.
Cumpleaños, Feliz Cumpleaños. And I thought the party had already happened, and I was talking to Bobby. I'm like, dude, what's is you guys had a 90th birthday? And he's like, no, that's like from an hour from now. It was 7 o'clock. The party was starting at 8 o'clock. I mean, how many 90-year-olds do you know that start their party at 8 p.m. on a weekday? I'm noticing all these things that things start late. So last night we start the competition, or the recital is supposed to start at 8 p.m. They don't offer, at first we find out from the dance instructor that let us know how many tickets your family needs, okay, to all the dancers. We tell them, and then all of a sudden, a day or two later, it's, well, no, there's no tickets it's first come, first serve, and they close the doors at 8 o'clock, or sooner if they're at capacity. So we're like, okay, we get there, we're walking up to the theater, and there's just a crowd of 50, 70 people outside waiting. Like, we're not getting.
People were testing the side doors.
Right.
And
Like, we're not getting in. It's already locked off. So Jesse calls the girls inside, and we get them to come to this emergency exit on the side. And they let us in, and we run in, and there's what was there? It was you and Ida and Tiffany, and we had some friends, some new families that moved to Ecuador this week that came out to show some support.
I mean, it was a bum rush. I mean,
But that was our core group. And then as soon as we went in, there was 100 people just busting through the door. And we're all running, and people are running upstairs and downstairs, and they're hiding in bathrooms.
But let me interrupt for just half a second, because that's exactly what happened, like 100% true. But there's no, it's so kind, right?
Oh, it was great.
There's no like danger whatsoever.
No.
Nobody's being rowdy. Nobody's pushing and shoving. Like, that part of the culture here, particularly in Loja, I really like. It's like people were doing exactly that. It was hilarity. But
I've got
it was
some of it on
very
video.
respectful.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
Yeah, I've got some on video. Well, maybe we'll put some in this vlog, into this pod, or I'll put it in a vlog to show you guys. Yeah, it was not like chaos, like Black Friday chaos by any means. It was like, it was very cordial, bum rushing.
right.
So we're in, and now the girls are all like, we got you in. They're high-fiving us, and they're sneaking us over, because they have it's kind of this opera style, so they have all these little doors where like these separate sitting rooms. So they're sneaking us into these rooms, and we're there, and we're kind of standing room because there's no seats left. The theater is booked full, and there's maybe 3 or 4 rows of seats in the front that are taped off for the dancers, but nobody was sitting in them. So all of a sudden they get on the loudspeaker and they're announcing that because of fire rules or fire hazards, that all the standing room had to leave, and then nobody left. So that they announce again, because people started sneaking up to the higher floors. They're announcing that there's too many people in the upper floors, that they're concerned with the safety of the balcony boxes.
Wow.
So if anybody that's standing doesn't leave, they're going to cancel the performance.
Yeah,
So,
that the theater was going to cancel
theater.
it. They were sort of begging, right, imploring people, like,
Right.
we're really grateful the theater hasn't canceled now. I'm sure they were just using that as a pressure tactic. But so it was very funny.
And then shortly, maybe a minute or two later, they came back on kind of defeated because nobody left. And they're like, okay, just sit in the front seats. We'll make the dancer stand. So then everybody runs to
cheering,
the front. Crowd goes wild, clapping, and then the events went on. And in the meantime, they'd went out and locked and chained the doors, ironically, the fire hazard, but then they chained the doors so that nobody could come in anymore from the side exits. But all in all, it was a fun experience. The girls did great. All the performances were really entertaining. There was from traditional dance to modern dance to all different styles and age groups, and gymnastics and art. It was makeup and costumes. We've got some footage of that we'll put together for you guys to show, but it was a cool experience overall.
Yeah, and all that stuff is just so indicative of the culture here, right? So, chaos and lack of organization, everybody being very kind and sweet and respectful through all of those processes. There's this issue, nobody's coming in guns blazing like, you out, right? There's none of that going on. It's
Nope.
like, guys, hey, please, if you could, be so kind, right? People aren't really leaving because they want to see their kids' performance. Okay, we found a solution. Sit down in the front. It's Ecuador really in a nutshell. Like it's one of the cool things here. I picture what that would look like back home with police and fire wardens and people screaming and angry and and you just would never have that here.
No, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a good time. Good time. And Jesse even made it the whole night without being cranky. I mean, it was a late night for you.
No, I did.
You were pretty cranky.
I was pretty cranky by the end.
Yeah, it was pretty cranky by the end.
It was well past my bedtime.
So what else we got, guys? We've got
we got a wrap.
We've got a wrap.
You know?
Yeah. So if you stay to the end, we do want to let you know we've got a really special retreat we're doing in October of this year. It's a health and wellness retreat. It's really coming together, really magically, man. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's
the synchronicity has been incredible. The energy behind it is beautiful. I am so excited about this retreat.
Yeah. Do you want to give them just a 10-second teaser on what they can expect, or you want to save it for another video?
Let's save it for another video, but it is going to be great. I can promise you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more about the health and wellness retreat, put a comment down below. If you like this content, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. Ask us questions down below. If there are things you want to know about, ask us in the comments. We're happy and definitely willing to answer any questions you have that we can either research or have the answer for you right offhand. If you're interested in the health retreat, like I said, comment below. If you're interested to move to Vilcabamba or learn about what living life in Ecuador is like or what lifestyles could be, check out the link and learn about the lifestyle retreat we're having in July. It's a blast. We'd love to see you down here. So in the famous words of Carlitos,
we hope to see you here one day.
And until then, we'll see you next time. Ciao, guys.